Hi, I'm Tovah. Thanks for joining today. Today's yin practice, we are going to slow things down and work on hip opening. So for today's class, we're going to start in lying bound angle. So getting yourself set up either using props, having something underneath your back and having something for your head to rest on, or maybe you have a longer bolster, or going flat on your mat here. Resting your arms either by your sides, on your tummy, or maybe going into cactus arms coming behind your head. Closing your eyes, starting to deepen your breath. Letting your body just melt over the bolster if you're using one, or melt down into your mat. Letting go of any tension you might be hanging on to through the neck, the shoulders, all along your spine. And as we're settling into the beginning of class, noticing what's happening in your mind, aiming to move it closer towards stillness, maybe using a focal point if your mind wants to wander. Letting go of your to-do lists, your plans for later. And just be right now in the moment, quiet and still. Taking a few more big, nice deep breaths here. As we allow the whole front of our body to open in lying bound angle. Good, and we're going to begin to come out of bound angle here as you bring your knees to close, helping with your hands if you like. Just resting for a couple of breaths here. now slowly sitting up. You can just move your cushions to the side. As we're going to make our way into pigeon stretch. So maybe coming from downward facing dog, or if there's another way that you prefer to get into the posture. And while you're in dog, if you want to pedal your feet a couple of times, move your hips just a little bit. And when you're ready, lift your right leg up and bring your right knee near your right wrist. Walking the back leg as far back as you can, relax your back toes, and then let yourself start to settle in here. This might mean propping underneath your right buttocks, or maybe using a cushion somewhere in front to rest your elbows or to rest your forehead on, or just let your head hang forward if that's more comfortable for you. Or maybe your body enjoys a few different variations of the posture, so choosing the one that most feels like what your body wants to do today. Really learning to tap into your body's needs, its wants, and what really feels good for you. And as we open into pigeon stretch, stretching not only the front of the hip, but the back of the hip for the buttocks, the glute muscles as well. So this is a great multifaceted stretch. And of course, if this version of pigeon does not work for your body, please come on out and you can go into the back lying figure 4 variation or 90-90 hip stretch. Perfect, and from here we're going to come right out of pigeon and we're going to make our way right into fire log pose. So just kind of tipping back so that your bum has a seat, and then slide your back leg all the way through and come on up into fire log pose. So here's where we're crossing one leg on top. I'll turn better so that you can see. So you're crossing one leg on top, like you're stacking 2 logs, and this foot might come near the crease of the knee. It could come further over on top of the knee. So finding the right amount of foot over that feels good for you while still letting the knee drop a certain amount. You can also tuck a small cushion underneath your hips here to give your hips a little bit of help tipping forward. And of course, you could always just venture back a step and come into half lotus, which would be bringing the foot more down and bringing the legs tighter in towards your groin. So as we're in fire log, we want to push the legs forward a little bit more so that there's more space in between the groin area, and the legs are really making a straight line across your mat as opposed to half lotus where they're making a diagonal line. Let yourself relax, leaning forward here any amount, and that might be no amount at all. So sitting just upright might be perfect for you. So again, finding that right amount of stretch. Maybe adding a little gentle pressure downward on the knee, or just letting gravity take care of it for you. But making sure that you're not putting yourself in so much of a stretch that you're feeling really uneasy. So if your mind is just starting to race everywhere, if you're gritting your teeth, if you're really starting to sweat in the position, those are all signs that maybe it's just a little bit too much, and we want to back off so that our muscles can really relax here. And remember, the practice of yoga is really about getting your mind to relax. And so when our body starts to relax, our mind starts to follow us there. So if we're pushing our body too hard, that can make it really challenging for your mind and for your nervous system to really quiet down here. And slowly coming up, just stretching your legs out here. It might feel good for you just to take a little bit of a lean back, open up the hips a little bit here. Take a couple of big deep breaths. Now feeling like if you want to give your legs a little shake, a little bit of a wiggle, as we get ready to move into pigeon on the opposite side. Again, if you want to move your feet around a little bit here, just loosen things up. When you're ready, lifting your left leg up and bring your left knee near your left wrist. Sliding and walking the back leg back. Letting yourself get comfortable here, making sure that your knee is more wide, so it should be about shoulder width apart. As you ease yourself into pigeon here. Finding just a nice gentle amount of stretch for you. Adjusting your position at any time here, sinking a little deeper, or maybe backing off some. Because pigeon is such a powerful stretch, the way that it stretches our body on the front side and the back side, and it's quite specific to how we move often. So when we're walking, we're running, we're bicycling, we're in that one leg forward, one leg back position. So I always like to say, pigeon stretch a day keeps the physiotherapist away. So if this is not part of your regular everyday routine, I would suggest aiming to add this posture in, even if it's the only posture you do. Good, and we're gonna come on at a pigeon. Again, just let yourself sink to the side or come out any way that you can. And then you're gonna bring your back leg all the way around. And so bringing the right foot up on top here as we move into fire log. Remember, we want our legs to be fairly straight here, but you can move into half lotus if that feels more appropriate for you. Leaning forward as much or as little as your body will allow. And not forcing anything here, and you can decide to walk the leg over a little farther or back it off a little bit more. We settle in here. And this can be a really demanding hip stretch for a lot of people, so making sure that you're not overdoing it is really important. And that can change from day to day. So one day you might have your foot all the way over, another day you might need to back it off some, or some days folding forward doesn't feel so great, and other days you feel like you can fold all the way over your legs. So really making sure that you're feeling out what your body is giving you, and only go as far as you're just finding that edge. And maybe even taking a little bit of a step back from the edge. Taking one more big deep breath here. And then let's slowly come on out. Just take your time here, maybe helping your legs. Maybe taking a little bit of a heart opener or a back bend here. Give your hips a little walk, a little wiggle. Perfect. And then we're gonna come on over onto our stomach for the next posture. Just make sure you have a little bit of the space here. Good. So as you're lying on your stomach, I want you to bring your right knee up to the side. So kind of like you're lying in the recovery position, but you're lying down on your stomach. So you're taking the knee as high as you can here. Turn your chest down towards the floor. You want to walk the opposite leg, the left leg, off the edge of your mat a little bit. So kind of like your legs would be in a wide V if they were both stretched out. You're going to take your hands up into a V as well. And then as we move into cat-tail pose, you're going to bend your cat's tail. So bending your left leg. So your foot's like pointing up towards the ceiling. And your cat tail is sticking straight up in the air. As you aim to keep your hips down on your mat as much as possible. And you can either leave your forehead down or you can turn your head to one side, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And then if you like here, you can reach for your cat tail with your left hand, hanging on to the tail, or just letting the tail float upwards. You decide. And you can decide to leave your right knee bent, or you can stretch that leg straight out if you should wish. So choosing to add any of the layers of this posture in or out of your practice. Good, and we're going to slowly come out of cattail. If you let the tail go, if you've had it held, and then start to bring your whole body back into the middle of your mat. And just resting, lying, with your head down or your head turned to the opposite side for a couple of breaths. Good, and moving any way that feels good, that's necessary right now. As we make our way into cattail pose on the opposite side. So you're going to hitch your left knee up as high as you can, walking the right leg a little bit off to the side, stretching your arms out. And just take a couple of breaths here. So even though you know the posture, you're not rushing to jump into it here. Just let your body start to open a little bit first. And then either stay right here or bend your cattail up. So bending the right leg. And then if you like, reaching for your foot. And you could use a strap here. So if you want to reach for your foot but you can't quite grasp it with your hand, try with a yoga strap or with a belt. And then maybe add in that stretched out left leg here. Just allowing your body to rest in this position. As we slowly start to exit the posture, just take your time as you bring your body back into the middle, resting comfortably for a couple of breaths here. And if you were turning your head to the side, maybe turn it to the opposite side here, or just go forehead straight down. Perfect. And as we move into our last posture of the day, if you have a yoga block, you're going to want to use it for the next posture, or maybe you like a bolster better as we prepare to get into supported bridge pose. And if you are not a fan of supported bridge, or it's not comfortable to you, you can end the class how we started in butterfly or lying down angle pose. If you're coming into bridge, you're going to lift your hips, tucking the block underneath at any height that works for your body. And remember, those blocks have 3 different levels depending on where you turn it. And you want to position the block so it's just under the firm part of your upper buttock. So it's not in the bendy part of your lower back. Really just right down by your sacrum or your tailbone. You shouldn't feel pain in your neck here, but if you do, that would be a reason to come out of the posture. And just let yourself relax here. So if your knees want to bend more to the outside or come to the inside, or maybe you would feel good to straighten the legs. Just get comfortable as we open up the front of the hips. Take some tension out of the lower back here. allowing your body to just give into this posture. And if this is feeling really restful to your body, really opening, choose to stay here a little bit longer. Not rushing to come out of bridge pose. Stay there as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me with today's yin practice. Namaste.